What's up, folks? This is Crypto with James talking to you today about Jerome Powell. Jerome Powell is set to testify in front of the Senate Banking Committee today. That is definitely going to have an impact on financial markets. It'll probably be a highly traded event as well. So let's get into it and see what we're going to be up against today. Before I do, I update the spreadsheet. The first 26 coins I spoke about on the channel. If you invest $100 into each of these when I release videos about them and you're still holding all that crypto, you're in profit for around 9.6k. This was well above 100k at one point. It's always a reminder to take profits all the way through a bull cycle. Don't try and get out at the top. Don't try and get in the same way. Don't try and buy at the bottom of the market because the market can always go lower. But if you want to see the coins that I own, guys, can check out Copy My Crypto. It's where I share every coin I buy and sell. I've bought a couple of coins last week. I've got open buy orders for a couple more. The question is whether or not they close, and we're just waiting for that really now. So if you want to see those coins that I believe can do 20x, 40x, 50x, 100x, then just click the link in the description and check it out. Right, Bitcoin is printing bearish divergence at the moment on multiple time frames: 4 hour, 6 hour, 8 hour, 12 hour. And the fact that Jerome Powell is set to have his meeting with the Senate Banking Committee is going to be interesting. So he'll release, he'll publish his prepared testimony, but the Q&A is where things get interesting. So what we've seen so far is the dollar's actually gained a bit since, in anticipation of obviously Jerome Powell. He's expected to talk tough on inflation during his testimony to Congress, whilst the pound fell in the wake of more elevated inflation data. Yes, 9.1% in the UK. So the main events is the start of Jerome Powell's 2-day testimony to Congress, because first it's the Banking Committee today, and then tomorrow the House Financial Services Committee. So a couple of days worth of this is going to be have big impacts on the market. So he's looking to, well, we'll see if he gives any investors further clues about whether another 75 basis point hike rate is on the cards for July. The next big dollar input will be when the Fed chair delivers his semi-annual monetary policy testimony to the Senate, which, judging from the latest FOMC meeting, should be pretty hawkish and means that any dollar downside is likely to be limited. That's what the analysts believe. We know they're going to do another point, like probably 50 basis point hike, possibly 75 in July. Now, how he's going to approach the fiscal policy is obviously going to be very, very interesting. There's a couple things that I really want to look at. So he's facing increased criticism more and more and more. Inflation has proved higher and far more persistent than he or the Fed staff economists had foreseen. And then he followed after he'd obviously had after they'd had their meeting in June. He followed with a news conference that many economists described as muddled and inconsistent. Now, obviously, he's confronting the chronically high inflation, plunging financial markets, and the growing threat of a recession. Powell is facing questions and criticism surrounding his stewardship of the Fed at a time when its challenges are multiplying. Powell could become the first chair since Paul Volcker in the early 1980s to grapple with stagflation, a miserable combination of slow economic growth and high inflation. So what is going to be fundamentally very, very interesting with regards to Jerome Powell is quite simply, look, the Senate are going to ask some hard questions at him. And the ones that are really going to indicate where we're going in the financial markets, certainly in the short term, today, tomorrow, the rest of the month, is when he's quizzed about a potential recession How does he respond? Is he going to continue with comments along the lines of, we don't want to induce a recession. However, there are many variables out of our control, which was pretty much his go-to statement in the press conference in June. Is he going to say, look, a recession's probably going to happen? How are they going to discuss about the balance sheet in terms of tapering? Because look, the tapering is the highest it's been ever. 95 billion a month is staggeringly high. So reducing that off the balance sheet, he's going to be quizzed about that for sure. And it is going to be really interesting because fundamentally, look, he has to address what the Fed themselves are doing and how they're trying to strengthen the economy, how they're trying to minimize the ever rising inflation. But he also has to acknowledge where the problems are going to be, and how he does that is going to indicate where we go. Because if he could be making a lot of comments about the Russia-Ukraine conflict, global supply chains, labor shortages, surge in demand for services from rents to airline tickets to restaurant meals. When he's quizzed about these things, if the answers continue to be, these are out of our control, these are out of our control, this is all we can do, raise rates and taper hard, doesn't inspire confidence. It's the recession questions as well, and I believe there are going to be a few recession questions from senators. How he handles them is going to be important in terms of what we see. I think the probability is just about that we're going to have like a decent market bounce after his testimony. And the reason I say that I think that is because I think he's going to be very, very strong on the moves that they're making and how hard they're going to tackle inflation. And the 75 basis point hike inspired some confidence in the markets. So I believe if he doubles down on that, I think it would probably continue that level of confidence in the markets in the short term. But if he slips up, if he makes any foolish comments, the probability is that we're going to see a market decline. So how he handles this whole meeting is going to be very, very important, particularly as things like Bitcoin are printing bearish divergences. Very, very, yeah. It's going to be a very, very interesting day. This all starts like 1:30 Greenwich Mean Time. So, yeah, guys, if you're a trader, this is going to be interesting. Even if you're not a trader, this is genuinely interesting. I quite like putting the minute-by-minute charts up when I'm seeing press conferences because they give you a hell of an indication about what the hell is market sentiment feels based on the statements made. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. So, speculative question, guys. Got to always ask a speculative question. What do we think? How do we think the markets are going to react to Mr. Powell's statements today within the media? Within the Senate. Do you think the market's going to see a bounce? Do you think he's going to slip up? Do you think the market's going to see a decline? Let me know in the comments down below. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification so you know when new content is coming out. And folks, if you want to see the coins that I'm buying up at the moment, the coins that I'm going to continue buying up during this wonderful bear cycle, then you just have to click the link in the description to check it out. But this bear cycle could last 6 months, it could last a year, it could last a year and a half, and the opportunities within a bear cycle are outstanding to pick up coins. Dollar cost average in though, because you never know where the low of the market's going to come. If you jump all in right now and then Bitcoin drops to 10k, all the positions you got have probably halved as well in terms of price, always DCAing in. But like I said, if you want to see the coins that I'm buying up, you just click the link in the description and check it out. That's it from me, guys. Take it easy. Bye bye.